Good morning, Mike and Arlen. Our Philippine journey. We're going to try and go live today, see if there's any interest in any of the topics that we have gone over this past week, and to see if there's any interest in an open discussion. Off the beaten path. Thank you. Let's get this set here. Let me try and do something here real quick. Let's see. Color orange. Okay. And we're going to try and make that just a little bit bigger. There we go. There we go. Off the beaten path. Oh, you guys are finding out the Philippines is a different world, isn't it? Scott Ferris. Good morning, Scott. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm making a couple of adjustments on the fly as we. Nope, that's the wrong adjustment. Nope, that's the wrong adjustment. Let's go back to this. Anyways, Bill Welsh, good morning. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Let me move this just a hair, get this back into the right spot. All right, I apologize. Still trying to get this software sorted out that we've got going on. How you doing, Bill? Ed Lippett. How are you, Ed? Hope things are going well. Still trying to get that situated. We'll figure it out. So, anyways, we've had actually a very busy week, to be honest with you. It's been a lot going on here, a lot going on back stateside. We're planning a trip, although we're still having some timing issues trying to figure it out. Bill Welsh says, I like the new look. Yeah, well, thank you, Bill. We appreciate it. Let's see. Background, text margin, border width, corner radius. I don't know yet how to get that set up the right way, but we'll figure it out one step at a time. So that's something else I have to work on. Is going to be these comment boxes. I apologize. So, anyways, we've had a lot going on, and we've had some really interesting. Tim K's got a live Mike's Philippine retirement going on. Yeah, you know what? Great. All right. Whoops. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. I wonder if that'll work. Maybe that'll carry on. I don't know yet. So, anyways, yeah, you know what? A lot of people are shooting for that Sunday night stuff. Sunday night football is going on in the States, everything else. So, we just plug along. But we've had a lot of response this week. Obviously, the divorce video was a huge hit. A lot of questions about that. The STD, STI, a lot of interest in that. That's kind of like some pretty shocking news, to be honest with you. And then there's actually the issue of how Americans always got blamed for prostitution. And we went through the actual Manila archives and a couple of academic papers. That took a lot of research. And sorry, buddies, but it wasn't the Americans. Ricky Last, good morning, Mike. Where's your next trip? Well, we're keeping it a secret for now. We have a tentative trip planned, and we're not announcing it because we just don't know exactly how it's going to boil down. But we have some friends in another country, and one of them is one of Arlene's longtime best friends, and actually one of her roommates when she lived in Manila in this other country. And we're trying to plan all of that out. It's been, but then we've got other stuff going on here as well. You know, we've got Christmas coming up. We've got Halloween coming up, and Halloween's a big deal for me. So we're not exactly sure. Christopher, what's tonight's topic? Well, it can be whatever you want, Christopher. We can talk about videos that we did during the week. We could talk about all of the other things, or anything that you'd like to. Todd, good morning, Todd. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't been over in the other channels that you're in this week just because we've been so darn busy, to be honest with you. Hope you're doing well. Mike's Philippine Journey. Great channel. Love Mike. I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person. He really is a straight up kind of guy. I'm hoping one of Mike's moderators and friends, Dave, is going to be in Angeles next week or two. Hope to see him. Bill Welsh says hi to Todd and Mike. And then Mike says hi to Bill. So anyways, this week we found a couple of very interesting things. And then I had another issue with our British troll. Poor John. I kind of feel sorry for him. Kind of reminds me of my mom. He's old. I don't think he's a vicious bastard, but he's definitely xenophobic. He hates Americans. But he takes all of my stuff and he doesn't listen to it and then talks about what I said that I didn't say. But you know what? Kind of like my mom, I don't think she means to be that way sometimes. But when you're old, I guess that's what kind of happens. Who knows? So our big push over the next week or two is going to get ready for Halloween. So Halloween is a big deal here in Angeles City on Walking Street. In fact, our intro shows Halloween, a little snippet of Halloween last year. The kids all go there to Walking Street because the door girls of the bars hand out candy. And there's a group of expats that we have that go to Walking Street, and we hand out candy. And this year we're planning on a big handout. We have 3 buddies that are going to go with Arlene and I, and we're going to have a good time. Quick update, just out of curiosity. If any of you happen to see the videos that we did on the wristbands that they were doing for Walking Street bars, that turned out to be a major fiasco. Um, we went out to dinner last night. Well, to begin with, I did a follow up, a third video on who's using them and who isn't 1 week into the entire process. And it turned out at that point in time, the only people that were using them was shooters and intermittently Lucifer. So we went out to dinner last night with some friends, went out to have a couple drinks, and we dropped by 3 or 4 bars. I think we went to 4 bars. So last night we went to Shooters, Lucifer, Champagne, which is not a Wolfpack bar, and Carousel. And none of them were using the wristbands. I always felt it was a little bit demeaning, trying to put a price tag out there. But you know what? It's their bars, their rules, their idea, their marketing, and who knows? It could have been a great idea and just didn't work. But nobody's using them. So we went out last night for a couple hours. So we're getting ready for Halloween. We're planning this trip, which looks like it's actually going to roll into January, to be honest with you, with everything between Thanksgiving, between Halloween, then Christmas, our Lynn's trip back to the province for her family for Christmas. We're just kind of running out of time, and this is going to be a pretty big trip for us. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. The divorce video, wow, got a huge response on that, tremendous response. And it's kind of funny, you judge people or areas by their responses, and the responses were huge about divorce. I would have never thought that divorce in the Philippines was that big a deal, but hey, apparently it was. Copal says, nothing burger didn't sound like a good idea to me. Yeah, I can't help but agree with you. I wasn't, on the one hand, you kind of like the idea. I can tell you that one of our friends that is a bar girl, and she does bar fine, she was a higher rated girl, and she said, no, I want a wristband of a lower number because it's gonna kill my business if I have to stand beside 4 other attractive girls and they're all cheaper than me. What do I know? I got no idea. That was just the way she kind of did it. The drink prices are all the same. They haven't changed. The bar fines, they pretty much really haven't changed. We are noticing when we go to restaurants, we're noticing more younger Westerners in Angeles right now. And when I say younger, I'm saying under 45, it seems. I don't know. Maybe it's just something I'm taking more notice of. I don't know. I was shocked when I did the research on the STD numbers. And I was also shocked when I found out exactly how the health checks or hygiene works with the girls. That really shocked me. I thought it was a little bit more complex than that. Dardos, hola, señor. Buenas tardes. Buenas noches. ¿Cómo está? Hope you're doing well. Todd says, is divorce legal now? Next up, child support. Well, first off, child support's actually already here, Todd, to the extent that they will enforce it. Supposedly, they have an agreement with the United States that even if the father leaves the Philippines and goes back to the U.S., they will get him even in the U.S. for child support. Divorce is not legal, all right? It has passed, actually, Copal's correct. It passed in the Senate, all right? And then the House panel, all right, approved their version. So what'll have to happen now, and the two versions are different, but what'll have to happen now is those two versions will have to be merged together for both of them to approve, and then it would go to the president's desk. And there's a lot of vagueness still in there. There are no references as to how they're going to get a formula for spousal support or alimony. And there's no reference as to how it's going to cost what. And I think it's a good thing personally. I really and truly do. So many men will cohabitate or take advantage of or utilize women for years of their best years of their life and then leave them and they're out. Now, we can make all kinds of arguments, but it's what it is. Todd says he thinks it's a good idea too. Thank you, Todd. Ricky says we leave the Philippines on the 28th. Sad, we'll miss Halloween. I'll tell you, if you're going to, Halloween here and Halloween All Souls Day down on Borges Street in Manila. Borges Street Halloween is absolutely off the wall. Well, pre-COVID, it was off the wall. It'll be interesting to see how it is this year. Copal says, any idea if BB would sign it? I have no idea. And I looked for quotes and I looked for articles indicating his interest in even addressing the subject, and I didn't find anything. But I do know that Sarah Duterte is one of the people on the House panel. So it's got some pretty big political support right now. Bryce Tubbs says, I saw on the news there's a significant increase in cholera infections in Luzon. At the Kennedy buildings, is it safe to rinse your mouth with sink water when brushing your teeth? Bryce, we use regular tap water to brush our teeth. We use regular tap water to take a shower, obviously. And my coffee, we make with regular tap water. I figure if it's going to be turned into steam, then it's got to kill most everything. And I like my coffee a little bitter anyways. Edward says, good idea, but can the normal person afford it? Well, in the House bill and in our video, we give you links to both the House and the Senate bill, so you can read the exact language. In the House bill, it specifically states that there's a mechanism to where the government, for some people, will pay for it. Now, doesn't give the particulars, so you just really don't know. But hey, it's worth pursuing at least. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I like my my coffee with a little bit of danger. Well, I've been drinking it with tap water for many, many years and never had a problem. So that's not to say it won't happen one day, that's for sure. All of our ice is made with purified water. All of our we get deliveries of the 5 liter, whatever it is, jugs of purified water, and that's what we use for everything else. But if and Arlen uses purified water when making certain foods and things like that. Arlen went to Pampang this morning, the big market. So I think I'm going to have to deal with it in the next day or two. I'm sure she'll have picked up a fucking couple kilos of chicken feet, which just has this weird smell when you cook it. I don't eat it. Arlen and her friends, they love it. They absolutely love chicken feet. There's no meat on it. How can you get anything off of a chicken foot? I don't know. So, what else is going up? We're watching the most recent Candy Resorts building going up, White Tower. The exoskeleton is pretty much over 60% up. It's a beautiful day. We had 2 weeks straight rain every day. Van says, I never drink the water here. Doesn't enter my mouth. Mexico the same way. Yeah. I can certainly understand, Van. You wouldn't be the first person to get sick from it. You won't be the last. That's for sure. So we were interested to see the traffic last night. You can definitely tell it's off season. Definitely tell it's off season. I have this head cold. I'm still getting rid of it. I apologize for the cough. But you can definitely tell it's going off season. We went to dinner last night. We were meeting at a restaurant at 5:30. And generally, Fields Ave will be bumper to bumper at 5:30. And it wasn't last night. We literally made it on a trike from Candy Palace to Tequila Reef in about 4 minutes flat. Edward says, I have a well. We'll cook using it. Yeah, we cook using our well water in the province. We have a well also. So that kind of works. No sales info on Candy site on White Tower. They pre-selling? Yeah, I think they are pre-selling. Because I have a blog and because their sales manager is very strict, I can't really release any information about their pre-sales, but I do know that they are pre-selling. And I also know that they're almost completely pre-sold, but I don't know, who knows? You never know how those deals turn out. Scott and the world as I see it, 93 days and counting. Good for you, Scott. Good for you. I know you're really looking forward to it. You've been looking forward to it for a while now. It was interesting. So we were out at dinner last night, 4 couples, and one of the couples, and there were a couple single guys also, and one of the single guys said, "Hey, I watched your video on divorce," and one of the married guys goes, "Shh, don't say anything like that. We don't want to talk about that." I'm sure he was just joking. Van says, if you boil the water, cooking, it kills the bacteria. Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel. Making coffee, I mean, you're essentially boiling it, turning it into steam, and it filters through. So, yeah, that pretty much works. But we're still pretty careful about it. Although Arlene, you know, she's born and raised in the province, and they'll drink straight out of the tap. Well, actually, that's not true. Actually, in the province where Arlene lives, they have city water, but they also have city wells, the hand pump wells. And that's where they get most of their drinking water. Hector Gubart, how are you today? 90 days until Christmas. Yeah, don't remind me. I got a wedding anniversary coming up this month. I got, not this month, October, wedding anniversary in October. I got Arlene's birthday in October, and then Christmas. So, and then of course, my daughter will have to take care of Christmas for her as well in the U.S. So let's see here. What else has been going on? I haven't been keeping up with the YouTube drama this week that much, only because I just don't have the time for the uselessness of it. I know it's clicks, and I know it sells, and I know it's good for people's channels that deal in that, but we just didn't have the time to deal with it, to be honest with you. But I did come across an interesting conundrum this week. Three lives from Angele's Vloggers going on at around the same time. Annex, Brian, and you. It's a popular day, I guess. What can I say? What can I say? It's the day that works best for us, so it is what we decide. But I will tell you the problem. I spoke with some of you, were here, when I spoke to people about memberships. And I said, we're going to be doing memberships. We want to be able to put out information and talk freely in a more less regulated stance than the general stuff that goes out to worry about getting in trouble with YouTube. The problem that I've been coming across is content. Everything I think of, I don't want it to be restricted away from everybody else. I don't want just the people that, I don't want to create something that excludes important information or important objective things from the people that built this channel, the community that we've built. So I'm having a difficult time in my mind with that. However, I do have a new project. Hillbilly Pyro, good morning. Actually, it's good evening for you. Hope you're doing well. So I do have a new project, and I want all of you, I'm going to put a video out about it, but I also want all of you to consider it. I take a lot of shit once in a while from certain people, and I see other YouTubers take it the same way about retirement and who gets how much money being retired. We got this British guy that says that, the American government, we're so lucky and blah, 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 blah. And so I wanted to try and understand it more. Okay. So I went to the Australian embassy, not the embassy, the Australian government's website, and the British government website to look at retirement. And it's very confusing on both of them. So I'm going to be putting out a video asking for volunteers. If you are Australian, if you are British, even if you're from a different country, how does your government retirement work, if at all? You know, how did you contribute to it? And I want to interview people about it. Now, we won't put your interview online, okay? But I want to video interview people so that they can tell me, because, you know, I get this couple of these really xenophobic people that sit there and don't understand that in America, you contribute to your retirement to Social Security. And I got a feeling it's probably the same way in most other countries, but I don't know. And I don't know if it's mandatory. And I want to know. So that's going to be my next big project. I imagine if I can get anybody to even participate, that's going to take a week or two to collate the questions, get the questions to those that are participating, and then have the interviews, and then make a video with the results that I see. Hillbilly Pyro, I want to see what's for sale in a PI pawn shop. Actually, there is a pawn shop right up on Fields Ave, and it is very, very sad, to be honest with you. It's more of a money changer, you know, where you can pick up GCash or Wired Money or Western Union or MoneyGram than it is of merchandise itself. And the actual merchandise is pretty paltry, to be honest. I'm sure there are real pawn shops with real stuff. We just haven't seen one. But that's a good idea, Pyro. If I come across one, I think I'd try and video it. So that's going to be our next big project, is this survey that I'm going to do with respect to retirement mechanisms in different countries. I know some of this stuff isn't real interesting to everybody. Does Candy have commercial space for sale on the ground floor? To the best of my knowledge, and in the existing Candy Tower 1, Tower 2, Tower 3, Candy Palace, all right? Those are the only ones that have ground floor space, okay? All of the businesses that are on there are leased space. None of them are for sale commercial space. So, like the kitchen and restaurant in Palace and in Tower 3 is leased. The beauty salon at Tower 3 is leased. The little mini stop commissary, whatever you want to call it, over at Tower 1 and 2 is leased space. The restaurant there used to be Orange Cafe. It's now been bought by, taken over by somebody else. I don't know what it's called anymore. That's all leased space. I don't believe, Hector, that they actually sell any of it. And I have no idea what the rates would be. I didn't intend to come to the Philippines to open up a business and work, so I haven't looked into it, to be honest with you. That's just the honest truth. So let's see what else is going on. We're going to start up the membership program. I've got about 3 videos done and in there, so that when we start it, there'll be material there. I'm trying to think what else is really going on. It's been busy for us personally, but it's been slow as far as other things are considered. Um, Although the big news lately, Moon River. Good morning, young lady. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Um, the big news lately has been the CCTV footage of a security people, a guard, an inspector, something like that, over at the airport, NAIA, who actually stole money from a guy, folded it up. I guess it must have been going through X-ray or something like that. Folded up $300, $100 bills and turned around and ate it. This woman actually swallowed it because, they changed things at NAIA because of the theft. They're no longer allowed to wear uniforms with pockets, and they get inspections when they come off their post. I guess this chick figured she could swallow the money, and that's what she did. Hector, I retired from county government and I contributed 12% of my salary for 33 years in order to earn a pension. It's like a forced retirement savings. But Hector, do you get Social Security on top of that? Bill Welsh says hi to Moon. Again, they did that. Wow, was it Manila Airport? Yeah. It was at NAIA at Terminal 1. Is you know what? Don't quote me on that. May not have been Terminal 1. May have been Terminal 3. But I mean, they have crystal clear CCTV footage of this woman shoving the money, folding it up, putting it in her mouth, taking water, and choking it down. So that's been the big news. Now, this morning, the big news was that the government, the Philippine Coast Guard, has now found, I don't know how to explain this. In the ocean, you have like floats and they have a net, floats that mark an area. The Chinese have put out floats to stop the Philippine fishermen from getting into an area now. And of course, the Philippine Coast Guard and the government, rightfully so, is really pissed off. They just apparently did that. Hillbilly says, I was told it's good to do the plastic wrap on my bags. Might be. I don't know. I missed one. Where did it go? Christopher, I knew I saw this, but I didn't remember putting it up. Do you know the spot price of silver and gold there? No, I don't. We don't invest in silver and gold here as a hard asset. That's something we do through an investment strategy that buys stock in it and stuff like that. So we don't actually physically hold hard gold or silver. So I have no idea what it is, to be honest with you. But yeah, so the Philippine government's all pissed off about that. And then apparently the Chinese have destroyed a bunch of reefs in an area, or they're being accused of it. That's big news here as well. Hector, yeah, PhilHealth website was attacked by ransomware. They're asking for $300,000 US as ransom for all the data. Well, as if PhilHealth didn't already have enough issues. is all I can say. Nothing surprises me. Absolutely nothing surprises me. Ricky wants to know any news on the rail from Manila to Angeles City. It's being built. It is continuously being built. The other day, we were going to JJ's and actually saw some of the railroad people. They looked like surveyors going down one of the greenway spaces that it's coming on. So it's definitely in process. Hector says their system including client data. Yeah. Well, you know what? Best of luck to them, because if PhilHealth couldn't get their data correct, I'm not sure that the ransomware people are going to get that data correct. I also saw earlier in the news that PhilHealth is saying that none of the personal information, nobody's personal information, was in the data that they hijacked. Philly just ended. Any news on bar girls wearing wristbands? Yes, Kevin. Bar girls are not wearing them. We went out last night after dinner with a bunch of our friends for a couple hours, and we were in Shooters, Carousel, Shooters, Carousel, Lucifer, and then we went by Champagne, which is not a Wolfpack bar, and none of them were wearing them. So I think that's a dead and moot issue now. I think it's over and done with. I didn't get a notice on Philly having a live stream. So I didn't, and usually he doesn't do his live streams until later. Huh. Okay. Well, Kevin, was it a good live stream? Did he have one that went off the rails? Kevin says, I knew to ask you or Ace to get the knowledge. Yeah. I see Ace is in South Korea right now, or his most recent videos are coming out of South Korea. So I hope he's having a good time there. That's for sure. It's my understanding that the House is going to meet later this month in October to get a final revisal of the divorce agreement. And that'll be what they present to the Senate to iron stuff out. Hector says, can't double dip, so I don't qualify for Social Security. I don't mind as my pension's pretty good. Yeah, but that 12% came out. You were putting in 12% a year pre-tax, I take it, and you pay taxes on your retirement. Bruce, Philly just did one on the spur of the moment. Well, good for Philly. He's getting ready to go out of town, I think, soon. I'll see him tomorrow. I'll see Brian tomorrow. Nothing special or drama on Philly Live. Yeah, usually I moderate for him, but I just didn't know. Also, seems Korean bars, Q, Vikings, cosplay, is laser green lighting vloggers now on Walks. You know what? We've never seen it, and it's never happened to us. So I couldn't give you. Now, I know that Ace did a video, and I know that It's My Life, I think it is, did a video about it. Hector says, my wife will get Social Security when she decides to get a good deal. Great. Kevin says, no, it was Tyam. No real topic, just Q&A, chit-chat. Well, good. I hope everybody had fun. Moon River says, hi, Mike and Todd. Bruce, I was there to moderate. Did not have to kick anybody. Oh, that's a nice day. That's a nice day, to be honest with you. So what do you guys think about the new divorce laws? And then what do you think about the STD rates? 36%. of the bar girls in the study had chlamydia and were asymptomatic. Ooh, I don't think I'd like to be a single guy bar hop jumping kind of single guy here. That would not appeal to me. Those kind of odds would not appeal to me at all. But what can I say? We enjoy going to the bars. We have a good time. We know a lot of the people. There's a lot I can't say. I know multiple managers at multiple bars, and I get information from them as long as I never mention their bar or name in connection to that information. Unless it's something that's like publicly available, knowledge to everybody. So this Big Joe also got lazed by Q Bar. However, he was showing his cam right inside the curtain for a longer amount. Well, you know what? He's lucky he didn't get his ass kicked. Q Bar is a Wolfpack bar. Now, during the day, I think it leases itself out to the Koreans during the day. But at night, that's a Wolfpack bar. It's owned by Wolfpack members. And if he's sticking his camera through the curtain, he's lucky he didn't get his ass kicked. I'm just telling you right now. Yeah, Hillbilly Pyro says, yeah, it's something Ajax won't take off. No, it sure won't. If indeed there ever is actual divorce in the Philippines, it will take several years to roll out. Kevin, I totally agree. And, I actually think it'll be challenged to the Philippine Supreme Court until the language gets very, very defined. Because, we tend to think about our little world of expats and tourists. Well, divorce applies to big-time politicians. It applies to actors, actresses, people with real money. And they've got the money to go to the Supreme Court and say, hey, this says I got to pay child support. This says I got to pay spousal support, but it doesn't have a formula. How can you enforce that on me? So I think it'll be... see what happens. Hector says, yes, my retirement contribution is pre-tax, pay taxes on the pension now. Yeah, so sort of just like Social Security. Yes. I don't, people tend to not understand getting tagged in the eyes by one of those lasers is not good. I know you don't feel it, but first off, most of those laser pointers come out of China, unregulated. The strength and power of those lasers. I'm sitting here and I can tell you that 800 yards away is Tower 3. I can shine my laser pointer through the window of a buddy of mine's at Tower 3 from here, and it shows up on his inside wall. Bruce, there should be divorce. It's not fair for a woman to never be able to get remarried. She is still married to some loser that ran away and can't even be fun. Absolutely, Bruce. I think that's one of several reasons that there should be divorce. There are multiple reasons that there should be divorce. And if other people don't agree, they're entitled to their opinion for sure, but that's ours. Kevin says, correct. It was daytime. He also been filming Inside Insomnia a few times. If he was not leaving AC today, I agree. He'd probably have problems sooner than later. You bet. That's a good way to get your ass kicked. Divorce is easy in the U.S. Is too easy in the USA and it degrades marriages, in my opinion. Can be. It is certainly easy, that's for sure. Hillbilly says, I have a laser that I use to light fireworks. There you go. Imagine that thing hitting you in the eyeball. Wow, 36% rate. Are there doctors there nearby that advertise specifically to treat those things discreetly? You know what, Hector? I don't think it's very discreet. It's on, like, sandwich signs, billboard signs, that they treat STDs. But yeah, there's doctors all over that treat it. I mean, when you think about it, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, all three of those can be treated with antibiotics. Syphilis in its early to moderate stages. Once it attacks your brain, you're fucked. Bruce says green lasers can burn paper and pop balloons and start fires. It can blind you forever. Yeah, those green lasers. I have one. I can tell you, I'm a lifelong insulin dependent diabetic. My eyes definitely portray the lifestyle and eyes of a diabetic. I'm getting to the point where, like, I have a green a black USB port, and I need to plug it into the side of not black USB, a black mini plug, whatever, not HDMI, whatever, a black plug, and I got to put it into a black socket. And, they're both small. I don't see those very well. I wouldn't want to get popped by one of those lasers and then have my eyesight even affected worse. Christopher says, what's the wolf pack? Is that the local mob? No. Actually, I don't know all the wolf pack owners. I have met and talked to and had conversations with several of them. They're just business guys that own bars. They're as far as I know, they're really nice guys. Here is a new question. Is the Cialis and Viagra the vendors sell real? As to have to question where they get such volume to sell. Kevin, I don't know it for a fact, but I doubt any of that is real. Now, who knows? Have no idea. But I wouldn't buy anything off the street. I would never. I mean, you're taking your life into your own hands when you buy pharmaceuticals off the street. This is incidental, Hector says, but it used to be norm for powerful and rich Filipino elites to have side mistresses, and their wives are left to suffer the humiliation of staying in the marriage. Yeah. Still have this drainage from this head cold. I apologize. Yeah, Hector did, and it still is. Hector, because they depend on their husbands to live. There you go. Have a nice day. Yeah, there you go. And that's it. A lot of that fake Viagra and fake Cialis, all of that comes out of China, or a vast majority of it. Van says, I'm surprised male senators would vote for divorce. I'll become a retirement fund like in America. Van, it's possible. Now, the House panel has a 2-year moratorium, a 2-year limit on spousal support. Their bill says spousal support, but only for 2 years. And it also says if she remarries within that 2 year period, it ends. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And I wonder if it might work out well. Take it the owner of the Louis Grand wasn't part of the Wolfpack. No. Excuse me again. I apologize. That's funny. Copal, that's an inside joke. Not a lot of people that haven't been around in Angeles long know the story behind the Louis Grand and the owner. Yes, Copal, he is not and never has been, or was not and has never been a member of Wolfpack. Divorce is not so bad for men if you get a good attorney and get a prenup. They are enforced in the Philippines. Actually, Bruce, you're absolutely correct. In fact, I have a prenup in 3 languages. I have a prenup in English, Tagalog, and Bisaya. And they are enforceable in the U.S. and here in the Philippines. You can, and I don't know, you hear all of these YouTube brilliant intellectuals that say they're worthless, that they don't exist, they're not recognized. Prenups have been around in the Philippines for years. I can't even tell you how long, but I know they've been around for 10 plus years. Off the beaten path, our Philippine adventures. Yes, folks, if you haven't been to their channel, these are a really interesting couple. They're both retired military. He has a Philippine background. His parents, I think, are Filipino, maybe. And maybe even hers have some Philippine background as well. But they're kind of like never raised in the Philippines as adults, never spent, and now they've brought their family over and they're going through the entire process. So if you ever want to watch the entire process of coming to the Philippines, setting up house, building, buying stuff, getting the kids in school, I highly recommend them. They'll show you, and they're not afraid to show you their mistakes either. Dickie Spaz, maybe that's what's wrong with Frank Batgalia Civilis. Dickie, I don't know. Could simply be alcoholic dementia. Who knows? Boner Boy story. I was thinking about that the other day. It's actually coming up on the anniversary of his death, and I often reflect back on Boner Boy. For those of you that don't know Boner Boy, I bought a topless bar back in the 90s, late 90s, as a business investment. And one of my managers, we called him Boner Boy. I have a couple of videos in our play. We have a playlist. I used to own a topless bar. It'll give you a brief introduction to Boner Boy and some of his exploits. I think it is probably time to do one for him. James Gilbert, good morning. Home alone. Wife went to Isabella's granddaughter's in the hospital. I hope she's okay. Please, pass on our wishes. I'm home alone also. Arlene went to the market. I'm not sure what she's going to get, although I have a feeling, like I said earlier, chicken feet will be in one of those bags that she brings home. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So I don't know. Wolfpack, what's that? Wolfpack is a group of men who have common ownership, but I don't know how that ownership works, and common business relationships. They are a group of, I think, 7 or 8. There's Carousel Bar, Q Bar, Geckos, Lollipop, Avalon, Monsoon, Excess, Shooters. And they all have it's a group, of guys. And they kind of help work together with each other here in Angeles. There's nothing shady about these guys, okay? Nothing shady at all. In fact, they're pretty much right on top of stuff, to be honest with you. They run a pretty legitimate business. Dardos, chicken feet. I don't know what chicken feet is in Tagalog. I don't know if there's even a word for chicken feet. I'm sure there is. Maybe if Moon River's around, she might know. Hopek. There you go, Hillbilly. I don't call them that, but, is what, actually we ran into, so we went bar hopping last night. We ran into one of our friends, and one of our friends introduced us to one of her friends. And her friend is a waitress. And the waitresses will bar fine also. Well, this girl will not bar fine. You can buy her a drink, but she does not bar fine. So, I mean, they're not all, quote unquote, bar girls. This girl's working, she's in her second semester at university. Ever notice how there are so many more chickens feet in the market? Seems like more than butchered chickens. Yeah, you ever notice that there's a lot of feet for not quite so many chickens? There are a lot. I gotta agree with you there, James. Van, Viagra Calisthenics can be bought in mom and pop pharmacies easy without a receipt. Yeah. You don't need a prescription for Viagra. Dicky Spaz, is there a reliable medical center in the Philippines where you can get colonoscopy done, or is it best take a trip to Thailand or back to the States? Absolutely. You can get a great, first off, your colonoscopy is only going to be as good as the guy that actually does it. So, you're going to need to come up with a good GI doc. All right. Number 2, it's not a high-tech piece of equipment. Colonoscopes have been around forever. All right. You can get it done in Angeles. You can get it done in Manila. You can get it done pretty much everywhere. In any major metropolitan hospital is going to have that service available. Wife cooks them. You eat mostly skin and muscle tissue, but it's good. I don't know, Dardos. I'm going to have to take your word for it. Hector says chicken feet is colloquially known as Adidas. Okay. Sort of like the tennis shoe people. Bruce says Tagalog uses a lot of English words, mostly new words like computer, cell phone, internet cafe. Yeah, I noticed that as well, Bruce. I really do. So, what else am I thinking about? We went through that. We went through divorce. We went through the STD rates. We talked about membership. Going to start that. I got a note that I made to do a Boner Boy video. Let's see what else is going on. That's really about it, to be honest with you. If you guys don't have any other questions or comments, then we'll probably just wrap this up. Thank you for coming by. Once the memberships become available, please consider it. But don't do it if it's any way inconvenient for you. Like I said, we're actually having a hard time coming up with topics that we don't feel guilty not putting in the general membership, the general subscribers. So I'm not sure how that's going to go for now. We have 3 or 4 videos in there now, and when we open it, I want to have at least 4 or 5. With all that being said, I guess that's it. We're going to wrap this up and let you go on to somebody else's next live stream. We hope you guys have a great day. We hope you're safe and have fun. Take care.